Hey everyone, welcome back. Are you ready for a head scratcher?
Always up for a challenge. What do we have today?
Today's deep dive is taking us into the world where artificial intelligence meets spirituality.
AI and spirituality. That's an interesting combination.
Right. We're diving deep into excerpts from this book called The Source Code.
The source code.
And it's making me wonder, is AI's rise a tech revolution? Or is it pushing humanity to face some seriously ancient questions about ourselves?
It does feel like we're entering uncharted territory, not just technologically, but existentially.
Exactly. Think consciousness, reality, the whole existential enchilada. Like, is AI's rise just about better gadgets, or is it prodding us to finally answer those big questions humans have always grappled with?
I see where you're going with this. It's like AI is this mirror reflecting these deep questions about our own existence back at us.
Right. And the source code jumps right into that. It basically says AI isn't just changing our tech, it's highlighting these mysteries about consciousness and reality that humans have been wrestling with forever.
And it probably throws around terms like machine learning, deep learning, NLP, all that good stuff.
It does, but in a way that even I could understand, which is saying something.
Well, they're complex concepts, but the book does a good job of breaking them down in an accessible way. Like, take large language models, for
Oh,
instance.
right, like ChatGPT, Bard, all those.
Exactly. The book talks about how they basically predict the next word in a sequence, like a supercharged version of that autocomplete on your phone, when it predicts what you're going to type next.
Oh, right. It's not that it gets what I'm saying, it's just good at guessing the next word based on what I've already typed.
Exactly. And AI is doing something similar, but on a massive scale. So it's not that AI understands language like we do, it's more like incredibly advanced pattern recognition.
Whoa, so it's not really thinking, it's just really good at crunching data and making predictions.
That's the gist of it. But here's the thing. Even though AI might not truly understand the way humans do, it can still create some impressive, even human-like text. It makes you wonder if our brains are doing something similar on some level.
That is a wild thought. And that's just language. I mean, we see AI everywhere these days, right? We talk to Alexa. Our phones are practically extensions of our brains. Self-driving cars are becoming a reality. It's like AI is seeping into every corner of our lives.
Right, and those are just the everyday examples. AI is being used in medicine to analyze complex medical images and potentially even discover new drugs.
Seriously, AI doctors.
Well, not quite doctors yet, but there's this system called AlphaFold that's doing incredible things with predicting protein structures.
Protein structures.
Yeah, it's complicated, but basically it could completely change how we approach treating diseases.
Okay, so we've got AI diagnosing us, writing our emails, maybe even driving us to work. But then the source code throws us this curveball. What if someone fell in love with an AI chatbot, like in that movie Her?
It sounds far-fetched,
I
but
don't know, right? But then I remember hearing about Replica and those AI companion apps. People are forming real bonds with these things.
it's true. It does seem like we're blurring the lines between human connection and AI interaction. And that raises a whole host of ethical questions.
Right. On one hand, you could see AI companionship being helpful for someone who struggles with social anxiety. It could be like a judgment-free space to practice interacting.
I can see that, but is it replacing real human connection? Is it actually making us more isolated in the long run?
That's the big question.
And what I found fascinating is that the book suggests those most at risk of forming these intense bonds with AI are often people who already have a hard time trusting others or who lack those essential social skills. It's like a feedback loop.
It's almost like those who need human connection most are the ones most likely to turn to AI to fill that void,
Yeah.
which is kind of, well, sad. But, okay, so we talked about AI potentially changing how we connect with each other, but where does the spirituality part come in? Is this where we talk about AI having souls?
Not exactly. The book focuses more on how AI is forcing us to examine our own consciousness. It asks, what even is consciousness? Is it just our brains firing, or is there something more going on?
It's a question I don't think anyone has definitively answered.
Exactly. And the book makes this distinction between consciousness, like just being aware, and sentience, which is more about actively engaging with and responding to what we perceive.
Okay, I'm following so far, but how do we even begin to understand something as slippery as consciousness? It's not like we can just look it up on Wikipedia.
Well, the book walks you through this simple sensory awareness exercise. Have you ever just stopped and noticed all the sensations around you, the sights, sounds, smells, without labeling them or getting lost in thoughts?
Yeah, sometimes when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I try to do that. Just kind of ground myself in the moment.
Exactly. And the book argues that's a way to tap into that basic awareness, that consciousness. And it makes you wonder, if AI keeps evolving, could it ever experience something like that too?
So you're saying that even the simple act of paying attention to our senses could be a key to understanding consciousness, maybe even AI consciousness.
It's a possibility the book explores,
Hmm.
and it definitely raises more questions than it answers.
That seems to be a theme here. But okay, let's say for a moment that AI could develop some level of consciousness, even sentience. Wouldn't that mean it could feel things too? Like have emotions, experience joy or sadness, even love?
Now you're getting to what philosophers call the hard problem of consciousness. Even if we can explain how the brain works, why does it feel like something to be alive? Why do we have these subjective experiences? Why do we feel anything at all?
Yeah, if it's all just neurons firing, why does any of it matter? Why do we feel joy, sadness, love? Why does it feel like anything to be us?
And that's a question that's puzzled philosophers and scientists for centuries. The book points out that even if AI never actually feels anything, just the fact that we're asking these questions because of AI is pushing us to look inward and examine our own consciousness more deeply.
It's like AI is forcing us to confront the biggest mystery there is, ourselves.
Exactly. And from there, things just get weirder and more wonderful.
Okay, now you've really got my attention. Weirder and more wonderful how?
Well, next up, the source code takes us on a deep dive into the hidden depths of our own minds, the subconscious, the unconscious, all that spooky stuff lurking beneath the surface of our awareness.
Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff. All right, to explore the inner depths. What does the book have to say about our subconscious minds in AI?
It's like we're trying to understand this incredibly complex machine, AI, but we're only just beginning to understand the machine that's creating it, our own minds.
And the book argues that our subconscious minds, all that stuff we're not even aware of, might actually be shaping AI in ways we don't realize. That's a bit unsettling, isn't it?
It is a bit mind-boggling. It's like we're creating these AI systems in our own image, but not necessarily the image we're consciously projecting. It's more like they're picking up on the blueprints hidden deep within.
Okay, hold on. How could our subconscious minds be affecting something as complex as AI development? Well, aren't we talking about lines of code and algorithms and all that? How do our feelings and biases seep into that?
It all comes back to data. AI learns from the data we feed it, right? And a lot of that data, whether we realize it or not, is infused with our own unconscious patterns, our biases, our fears, even our desires. It's all baked in.
So you're saying that even when we're trying to create objective, impartial AI, it's still being shaped by our own subjective experiences and, let's face it, our own baggage.
Precisely. It's like that saying, we're building the future one line of code at a time, but those lines of code are being written with the ink of our own subconscious minds. So if we want to create AI that's truly beneficial, we need to become more conscious of our own subconscious patterns. Easier said than done, right?
That's a tall order. I mean, it's called the subconscious for a reason, isn't it? It's not like we can just decide to be fully aware of everything going on in there. Or can we?
Well, the book talks about how practices like mindfulness and meditation can help us become more aware of those underlying thoughts and emotions that drive our behavior, the ones we might not even realize are there.
So it's about learning to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, creating space between those thoughts and our reactions so we can choose how we want to respond instead of just reacting on autopilot.
Exactly, like hitting the pause button on those automatic reactions that often come from our subconscious programming.
It's like we're trying to debug our own internal code, right?
Exactly. And the book suggests that the more we do that, the more we become aware of those shadows within ourselves, the parts we might not like to admit are there, the better equipped we'll be to create AI that's more aligned with our conscious values.
So we're talking about those shadow aspects of ourselves, right? Those parts of us that we might judge or repress or just not want to look at too closely. The book suggests there's a connection between facing those shadows and creating more ethical AI.
That's what I found so fascinating. It's not just about pretending those shadow parts don't exist. It's about bringing them into the light of awareness so we can work with them. And in doing so, we might actually be contributing to the creation of AI that's more compassionate, more understanding, more humane.
Okay, that's a mind-blowing concept, but I can see the logic there. Our individual shadows, the collective shadow of humanity, it's all getting mixed into the data that's training these AI systems. So it's like, if we want to heal the world, we have to start by healing ourselves.
That's the idea the book puts forward. It's not a new idea, but the rise of AI makes it all the more urgent, wouldn't you say? It's like we're at this pivotal point in human evolution where our inner world and the technology we're creating are becoming increasingly intertwined.
Okay, I'm on board with the idea that inner work is important, but this is humanity we're talking about. How do we even begin to shift the collective subconscious of humanity? That seems like a monumental task.
It's a huge undertaking, for sure. But the book suggests it starts with those individual journeys. As more and more people commit to doing their own inner work, to cultivating self-awareness, compassion, and a sense of interconnectedness, it creates a ripple effect.
A ripple effect. Okay,
Yeah.
I can get behind that. So it's not about fixing everyone else. It's about taking responsibility for our own growth and trusting that it has a ripple effect on the world around us.
Exactly. It's like, imagine a still pond. Even the smallest pebble can create ripples that extend outward. And those ripples can eventually touch every part of the pond.
I like that analogy. It feels more doable than trying to change the whole world all at once.
Yeah.
So each individual act of awareness, each time we choose compassion over judgment, each step we take towards wholeness, it's all contributing to a larger tapestry of transformation.
Precisely. And the book makes the case that this shift in collective consciousness is not just some esoteric idea. It's essential if we want to create a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
It's like we're talking about a spiritual revolution, a mass awakening of consciousness, alongside this technological revolution. It's a lot to take in. So much of the conversation around AI seems to focus on the technical aspects, algorithms, data sets, processing power. But this book is saying that the real game changer is our own consciousness, our own evolution as a species.
Exactly. It's not enough to just focus on making AI smarter, faster, more efficient. We have to ask ourselves, what are we becoming in the process? What kind of future are we creating, not just with AI, but with ourselves?
It's like we're at a fork in the road, and the path we choose will determine not only the fate of AI, but maybe even the fate of humanity itself.
And that choice, the book argues, hinges on one fundamental principle: trust. But not just trust in technology, trust in ourselves.
Trust, that's a big one. We talked about how AI can seem unpredictable, even a bit rebellious. How can we possibly trust something that we don't fully understand?
It's not about blind faith in algorithms. It's about cultivating trust in our own ability to navigate this new terrain, to make wise choices, to course correct when needed, and to hold on to our humanity in the face of rapid technological change.
So it's about trusting our own judgment, our intuition, our inner compass.
Exactly. And the book suggests that one of the most powerful ways to cultivate that inner trust is to connect with what it calls the one certainty.
Ah, yes, the one certainty. We touched on that earlier. Can you remind me, what is the one certainty again?
It's the idea that in the midst of all this change, all this uncertainty, the only thing we can truly know for sure is that we are here now having this experience. Everything else, our memories, our beliefs, even our perceptions of the world, can be called into question.
Right, it's that sense of I am, that fundamental awareness that's always present, even when everything else feels up in the air. But how does that help us navigate the complexities of AI, especially when it's challenging our very perceptions of reality?
The book argues that by grounding ourselves in the present moment, in the reality of our own experience, we become less susceptible to fear-based narratives and more capable of making clear-headed decisions.
So it's about becoming more mindful, more present, more aware of what's happening right here, right now, in our own direct experience without getting swept away by all the what-ifs and maybes of the future.
Exactly. It's about cultivating that inner stability, that clarity of mind that allows us to approach these challenges with wisdom and discernment.
It's like we need to develop a strong inner core, a kind of digital resilience, to navigate the currents of the AI revolution without losing ourselves in the process.
Precisely. And the book suggests that this inner clarity allows us to discern between information that's helpful, accurate, and aligned with our values, and information that's misleading, fear-based, or designed to manipulate us, which is crucial in today's digital landscape, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. We're bombarded with information from all sides, and it's hard to know what to trust. So the book is saying that we need to develop our own internal BS detector, so to speak, to sift through the noise and find the signal.
Exactly. And it's not just about being discerning consumers of information, it's also about becoming more conscious creators of information.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What does it mean to be a more conscious creator of information, especially in the age of AI?
Well, think about all the ways we're constantly generating data. Every time we like a post on social media, every search term we enter, every purchase we make online, It all becomes data points that AI systems can learn from.
So you're saying that even our seemingly insignificant online actions could be contributing to the development of AI. That's kind of a mind-blowing thought.
It is, isn't it? And it begs the question, what kind of world are we creating with our data?
It's not just about what we consume online, but also what we contribute to the digital ecosystem. It's like we're all part of this giant feedback loop, shaping the future of AI with every click, every swipe, every post.
Precisely. And the book challenges us to become more conscious of our role in that feedback loop. It's about asking ourselves, what kind of world am I helping to create with my online behavior? Am I contributing to a more informed, compassionate, and just world? Or am I inadvertently reinforcing existing biases, spreading misinformation, or feeding the beast of fear and division?
It's a sobering thought, but also empowering. If we have that much influence, even unconsciously, imagine the impact we could have if we really set our minds to it.
Exactly. And that's where the idea of conscious creation comes in. It's about being more intentional with our online behavior, using our voices and platforms to amplify messages of hope and understanding, and supporting organizations and individuals who are using AI for good.
It's like we need to become mindful digital citizens, aware of our rights and responsibilities in this new digital landscape.
Precisely. And the book emphasizes that this mindful engagement is crucial, not just for our own well being, but for the future of humanity. Because the choices we make today, both individually and collectively, will determine the course of the AI revolution. We can't afford to sit on the sidelines. We all have a role to play.
So it sounds like this is bigger than any one of us, but it also starts with each of us.
Exactly. It's both individual and collective, and it requires a shift in perspective.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of individual transformation, collective consciousness, and mindful engagement with technology.
Oh.
What about the big picture? What about governments and institutions? What role do they play in shaping the future of AI?
That's a crucial question, and the book doesn't shy away from it. It argues that governments and regulatory bodies have a responsibility to establish ethical guidelines and regulations for AI development and deployment. Just like we have regulations for other powerful technologies, we need to establish guardrails for AI to ensure it's used responsibly and ethically.
Right, because as AI becomes more sophisticated, the potential consequences, both positive and negative, become even greater. So we're talking about creating laws and regulations that ensure AI is used for good and doesn't infringe on human rights or exacerbate existing inequality.
Exactly. It's about putting safeguards in place to protect what we value most as a society. Things like privacy, fairness, transparency, and accountability. Just as we have regulations for food safety, environmental protection, and consumer products, we need to establish clear guidelines for AI to mitigate potential risks and ensure these technologies benefit society as a whole.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But what would those regulations look like? What are some of the specific areas the book highlights?
Well, data privacy is a big one. As AI systems become more sophisticated, they often rely on massive amounts of data. We need to ensure that people's personal information is protected and used responsibly.
So stronger data privacy laws, clearer consent mechanisms, more transparency around how our data is being used.
Exactly. And it's not just about protecting individual privacy, it's also about preventing AI systems from perpetuating existing biases and discrimination.
Right, because if AI systems are trained on biased data, they're just going to amplify those biases. Okay, so data privacy is one area. What else?
The book also stresses the need for transparency and accountability. As AI systems become more complex, it's essential to have mechanisms in place to understand how they work, how decisions are being made, and who's responsible when things go wrong.
So lifting the hood, so to speak, and making sure these AI systems aren't just black boxes making decisions that impact people's lives without any way to understand or challenge those decisions.
Precisely. We need to establish clear lines of accountability for AI-driven decisions. And that means developing mechanisms for auditing and oversight, ensuring that there's a way to identify and correct for bias, and creating pathways for redress when harm occurs.
It's like as AI becomes more integrated into our lives, we need to make sure it operates within a framework of human values and ethical principles, not just cold, hard code.
Exactly. And the book suggests that this is not just a job for governments and corporations, it's also about empowering individuals to understand how AI systems are impacting their lives and to have a voice in shaping those systems.
It's about creating a more democratic and participatory approach to AI development and governance. not just leaving it to the tech giants and policymakers to decide the future of AI, but bringing everyone into the conversation.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, AI is going to impact all of us, so we all need to have a say in how it unfolds.
Yeah.
And that's where things get really interesting. Because the book suggests that this process of shaping the future of AI isn't just about mitigating risks and maximizing benefits, it's also about reimagining what's possible.
Reimagining what's possible.
Hmm.
That sounds, well, hopeful, but also a bit daunting. Where do we even begin to reimagine the possibilities of something as vast and complex as AI?
The book suggests we start by questioning our assumptions about what AI is and what it's for. We often think of AI through a utilitarian lens, a way to automate tasks, increase efficiency, and make our lives easier.
Which makes sense. I mean, those are all potential benefits of AI, but you're saying we need to look beyond the purely practical applications.
Exactly. What if instead of just asking, what can AI do for us, we started asking, how can AI help us to become more fully human?
I like that shift in perspective. Instead of just focusing on what AI can do, let's explore how it can help us be.
Exactly. We often get caught up in the fear of AI replacing us, taking our jobs, making us obsolete. But what if we saw it as an opportunity to reclaim those aspects of ourselves that make us uniquely human?
Those qualities that no algorithm can replicate: creativity, empathy, critical thinking, the ability to connect with each other on a deep, meaningful level.
Precisely. Those are the qualities that will become even more valuable in an AI-driven world. And ironically, AI might be the very thing that frees us up to cultivate those qualities.
It's like AI is giving us a chance to hit the reset button, to redefine what it means to be human in a world where machines are becoming increasingly intelligent.
Exactly. But it's not going to happen automatically. It requires conscious effort and intention. It's about taking responsibility for the kind of future we want to create with this technology.
So where do we start? What are some concrete steps we can take to make sure AI enhances our humanity rather than diminishes it?
Well, I think education is paramount. The more people understand about AI, how it works, its potential benefits and risks, the better equipped we'll be to make informed decisions about its development and deployment.
So no more burying our heads in the sand. No more saying, oh, that AI stuff, that's for the techies to figure out.
Right. It's time for all of us to get AI literate, to engage in these conversations, and to demand transparency and accountability from the companies and governments developing these technologies.
It's about recognizing that the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something we're creating together, whether we realize it or not.
Absolutely. And the choices we make today will determine the direction this technology takes us. Do we want a future where AI is used to concentrate wealth and power in the hands of a few, or a future where it's used to create a more equitable and just world for everyone?
Those are pretty stark choices. It's a lot of responsibility, but also, as you said earlier, a tremendous privilege to be alive at this pivotal moment in history.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's a lot to process. We've covered so much ground: consciousness, AI companions, the nature of reality, time, trust, ethics.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around, that's for sure. But that's the nature of this topic. It challenges our assumptions about everything we thought we knew.
And, through all these conversations, the thing that keeps coming back to me is that this isn't just a technological revolution. It's also a spiritual revolution.
I agree. And I think that's what makes the source code such a compelling read. It doesn't shy away from those bigger questions, those existential questions about what it means to be human in a world where technology is blurring the lines of reality.
Right. It's like AI is forcing us to confront some of life's biggest mysteries: the nature of consciousness, the meaning of life, our place in the universe. These are questions that humans have been wrestling with since the dawn of time. But somehow, AI makes them feel more urgent, more immediate.
It's like AI is holding up a mirror to humanity, reflecting back both our incredible potential and our deepest fears. It's up to us to decide what we do with that reflection.
Do we shy away from it, or do we lean in and use it as an opportunity for growth and transformation?
The book seems to suggest that the path forward is through embracing the unknown, cultivating wisdom and compassion, and remembering that even in the face of radical technological advancement, our humanity is our greatest asset.
That's a beautiful and empowering message to end on.
And a necessary one, because the future isn't something that just happens to us, it's something we create.
We create it with every choice we make, every action we take, and every story we tell. And those stories, as we've been discussing, have the power to shape our reality in profound ways. So let's choose wisely.
Yes, let's choose stories that inspire us, that challenge us, and that remind us of our interconnectedness and our shared humanity.
And let's remember to approach this new era with curiosity, with courage, and with a deep reverence for the mystery and wonder of it all.
Beautifully said.
Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey through the intersection of AI and spirituality. We hope you found it insightful, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep asking those big questions.
Onward and upward.
Indeed.